Hello. Well, this right here is an electrical burn. I was cardioverted, which happened almost 24 hours ago, a little less than 24 hours ago. It itches like poison ivy, but I think it should show up there. Um, that's where they put like a pad that's like about that big. For some reason, only like half of it put a burn on me, but yeah, that's what it looks like, and it itches like a motherfucker. But let me get decent. My version of decent. Okay, there we go. And anyways, so it is 7:14. So uh, I'm way off. Well, I'm off all right. So if today is Thursday and it's 7:14 p.m., that was 7:31 a.m. on a Wednesday. So it's more like 36 hours since I was cardioverted. As usual, my math is terrible. But they put like a pad like that with an electrode to it, and they put it on the front of your heart. And they put it on the back of your heart. I don't know if they're like sends electricity through into your heart or how that works, but that's what they do. They put a pad here and then they put a pad on your back. So I got a burn on my back, and I got that burn on my chest. And anyways, so um, this happened. This is a Thursday, like I said, evening. This happened Wednesday morning. I just woke up at 2:30 in the morning and had arrhythmia, but I already went through all that stuff before. I just kind of wanted to show anybody that's never seen a burn like that, where that it's electrical burn from being cardioverted. I mean, yeah, it's part of my story, so I guess if I'm not telling my story on here, it's part of the deal. But anyways, the day after the thing, I mean, this today I was just sitting around very depressed because it's been like 2 years since I had to have my heart shocked at least, and I thought maybe I kind of got used to not worrying about it. So thinking, oh man, I'm gonna start this new relationship, which is an old relationship with my heart of distrust, where I'm just sitting around listening to my heart, not trusting my heart, worrying about it all the time. And a gentleman that comments on my video uh, was saying how um, the benzo withdrawal makes you like real aware of what's going on inside of your body, and I'd have to concur with that. And one thing about that is, you know, it makes you feel like you got like a minor thing going on, and it's all amplified. And I think it's because your GABA receptors are not functioning properly, and that GABA transmitter is a calming transmitter to your central nervous system. At least the process through which it gets used results in a calming thing, and it's like um, yeah, it's like looking at the sun, and then the GABA is like sunglasses. But then when that's taken away, it's all bright and sharp, and it's like, oh, the sun's really freaking bright out here today. And it's like internally, you're like, oh my god, everything's all bright and sharp, and ugh. So you can have like a little bit of gas pain or something going on with your stomach and think you have stomach cancer. All your pain is like amplified. And I don't, that's the best way I can describe it. Uh, it's like, uh, it's like whatever's going on inside you is cold, and the GABA transmission and reception process is like a coat. So, you go outside, and you feel that cold hit you, and everything's all sharp and bright. I'll throw in the sun with the cold too. And it can be sunny and cold out at the same time. Everything's just like, oh, hits you all at once, the cold and the heat, and the cold and the brightness of the sun and everything. So that's why, like, a lot of times when people are going through benzo withdrawal, I guess, the doctors will play along with it, because you'll go in there and you'll be complaining about this, and they'll order like GI tests for you, gastrointestinal tests, and like checking out to see if there's something wrong with you. And really, what's wrong with you is that benzo that you're withdrawing from. That process is causing all these sensations. Now, as I expressed in the other videos, I don't know what the particular relationship that is with my heart. I'm very aware of my heart. I do remember when I was 36 and I had arrhythmia. I really didn't feel the arrhythmia. I felt like my heart was beating really fast. I was aware of my heart beating really fast. But they actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they put me on blood thinners and they scheduled me to be cardioverted, shocked. So I was sitting at home for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or something like that before they did it. And they just told me, like, don't move around too much. Just, be cool about it. And had me on blood thinners. And I was not nearly as aware of what was going on. And, like, it wasn't, I couldn't imagine 4 or 5 days, like I was 36 hours ago. Where, it's just torture, and it has to be, maybe age makes you more in tune with your body, but pretty clear cut to me. 36 years old, I never had taken a benzo at 36, and now that I am 50 years of age and have been on benzos for 3 years, it's probably not a coincidence that I could sit for 4 or 5 days and just chill in my house with arrhythmia and just be cool with it. And shit, that would be like 3 or 4 years. It's bad. Anyways, the point of that being that when you're going through this withdrawal thing, apparently all your bodily ills, discomfortures, various sensations is all amplified to the point of being uncomfortable. Now, I remember when I first went through withdrawal, like, this light here would not be shining down on me because I wouldn't put up with it. Like, light, noise, everything bothered me. I couldn't watch TV. I stared at a plant, like I've said many times. I just would stare at a plant and try to meditate. I didn't want to look at anything on the computer. I didn't want to look at lay here and look at any TV shows or anything like that. But anyways, getting to the point, or the meat of the video, besides the burn, is like, this time I'm playing this shit different. I don't give a fuck. Today it was 34 degrees out and snowing, and I was sitting there all depressed and all thinking about how it was last time. And I said, to hell with it. And I called somebody and I said, I'm about to do something stupid. I was like, that's why I'm calling you. And then, the phone was breaking up and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry to irritate you with this phone call. And then I hung up and I thought about it some more. And I was like, oh, the hell with it. So I jumped on my electric bike in 34-degree weather. About 30 hours out from being anesthetized, knocked out, and shocked. I rode to my doctor's office and got caught in a snowstorm to the point where going from my doctor's office with my new script to the drugstore, my pocket had filled up with snow, and it was wet, heavy snow, and I had like soggy, wet bills in my pocket. A soggy 5 and a soggy 10, because snow was just piling up inside the pockets of my coat. And then when I made it home, before I made it home, of course, my bike being a piece of crap, my electric bike, it just decided to stop working around Speedway, which is the gas station about 10 blocks from my house. So I'm, pushing a bike 10 blocks about 30 hours after getting cardioverted for AFib arrhythmia. And yeah, I mean, I felt like it was good for my sanity, so what the hell? Didn't kill me. I'm not in AFib arrhythmia as far as I know right now. I do feel a little jittery inside. You'll get that. You know, I had a headache. I've had a headache ever since I got shocked. So I've been up since 2:30 in the morning because that's what time that I got up the day before uh, in arrhythmia. So, you know. Anyways, the other thing I was going to talk about quickly, like I can do anything quickly, is my script was for 60 Xanax, and I got a script for 120 volume, 10 milligram capacity with a refill. So that's 240 volume, and I have a stockpile now of 120 Xanax. So I think we got the whole benzo thing covered as far as supply. Now it's up to me to do the right thing and to do the work, whatever that may entail. But here's the thing: the script for a volume says right on it, it's for getting me off of Xanax, right? And not some, maybe phrased a little different, but that's the gist of what it says right on there, for getting off of Xanax, So I can't go into a drugstore and say, here's my scripts. One of them is for getting off of Xanax. The other one is for a whole bucket load of Xanax. So, I had to pick up that script today and take it in separately. And then tomorrow I will take in the volume to another drugstore, a different drugstore. Because if I take it to the same drugstore, there's a greater chance that they'll, call my doctor and be like, he's got a script from you and he's got a script from a separate guy. I mean, we're talking about a lot of benzodiazepines. So what's going on here? Thinking that I'm pulling some kind of fast one, which I guess I am, and sort of in a way. So I'm going to go to a completely different drugstore and try to get that filled tomorrow, the volume filled tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, it should work. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't work. That's my plan. That's what I'm going to try to do. So, yeah. So that's about it. I mean, I made well, it's pretty eventful when you go on day fib and you get anesthetized and shocked, and and the thing for me is I thought this shit was over with. It took me 6 months the last time I got shocked to trust my heart again. It's like getting betrayed by a friend. It takes a long time for that trust to come back, you know. And for a while there, I would just walk on a treadmill for 5 minutes just to get my heart rate up and be like, "Are you cool with that? Are you gonna betray me and act like an asshole again?" Or and I had to work my way up. But today I was like, I'm not playing it that way no more. It's like whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I mean, it stresses me out more just being passive and sitting around and trying to get rides from people and just dealing with various people in my life. You know, everybody keeps telling me to try this Uber thing over cabs. The cabs are they know they got some major competition from the Uber people, so you can get cab rides, I guess, locally for $8. That's what the cab driver told me. I took a cab on the way home from the hospital because I didn't want to call nobody. I didn't want to annoy nobody with my existence. They were like, "You got anybody? You don't have anybody you can call to give you a ride home?" And I'm all drugged out of my fucking head. And I'm like, "Nope, call me a cab." And anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna play it different this time, and I'm not gonna live afraid. Um, Whatever happens, happens. I'm not gonna do anything crazy like going and playing in traffic, or take up smoking weed again, or start out lifting crazy amount. Start working out with 30-pound dumbbells, or take any stupid chances like that. But if I have something today where that was my plan all along, is to do that, and I'm sitting there calling people asking for rides, and I'm like, I don't really want to call it. I got to the gist of the meat of the thing that was going on inside me. It's not a matter of calling a cab or calling an Uber. It's I want to go and I want to do things myself. I don't want to wait on no cab or no Uber or no person. You know, a lot of y'all take that shit for granted, where you can just jump in a car and go wherever the fuck you want when you want. But if you can't drive like me, and you got mobility issues and shit like that, that's a big deal to be able to just, um, have that independence where you're not waiting on anybody and just can go when you want to go. So that's I was thinking about, like, well, I could call a cab. I mean, I never tried Uber before. I just could just call the same cab company I used to come home from the hospital. That's not really what this is about. This is about me wanting to, independence, want to exert my independence and go and do what I want to do when I want to do it. So yeah, I mean, who knows what I feel like tomorrow? I might be all like triumphant and feel like a big shot or brave or whatever right now, and I might wake up tomorrow. That's the horror of this AFib nonsense. Is there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just an electrical misconduction in your heart. So I could I could be feeling good about myself right now and all brave and shit. I could wake up at 2:30 in the morning all over again and end up in the hospital. And of course, this is why I ended up on Xanax in the first place, is having this kind of anxiety. Or this is why I ended up going to a doctor over it anyway. Like I said, it's all foggy to me, like how this all happened. I remember I wasn't sleeping. I remember the first Xanax that I was getting like 3 odd years ago was just off of somebody that I complained about not being able to sleep. And I don't know if I was not able to sleep because I already had a heart episode. I don't know. I honestly can't remember. I wish I could. But I know for a fact that I went to the doctor and I started asking for scripts after I was getting cardioversion and was having AFib because it was fucking with my head. And the guy I talked to today knows about 1 billion people. A friend of mine, ex-police officer, current security guard, and he said that he knows a lot of people and it affects them, that it like changes their whole life because they're afraid of their own heart. And I don't want to be like that. But like I said, each day I get up, it's just fucked up knowing that that's the second time that I've gone to sleep and then woken up and had to go to the emergency room. What the fuck, man? You can't even go to how am I supposed to like uh, uh oh, I could drift off and have a nice sleep with thoughts of that, knowing that that's a possibility that could happen. So yeah, I might feel all like brave and semi-triumphant because I overcame my fears and dealt with shit today, and then tomorrow I could be in the hospital with this stupid shit. This is 5 times I've had that burn on my chest. I had it once where it was like that big, man. It was just a big old fucking burn. I showed it to the mail. I was friends with the mailman at this one place I lived, and I said, "Man, check this out." And he's like, "What the fuck happened to you? Did somebody put an iron on your chest or something?" And I'm like, "No." I was like, "I got cardioverted yesterday." And he's like, "Holy crap, that was a big old freaking burn like that." But anyways, before I start gabbing on about more nonsense, I guess I'll just get off of here. Because the less sleep I have, the more garrulous I become. The more loquacious, the more verbose. Is that the word I'm looking for? The more likely I am to run at the mouth ad infinitum. So goodbye, and hopefully I won't be doing any more videos in a while, because the only reason why I'm doing these 3 is that's a pretty significant event in a person's life, especially when you think it's part of the past, and here it is, part of your present and possible future. But anyways, I might even be repeating myself. Who knows? As usual, thank you for your indulgence, and only the best always. Bye bye.